Well, good evening, our Oregon Trail Council Scouters. Welcome to your Fireside Chat. We're looking forward to having some solid updates tonight, and here are some very good news here and there. Do we have our council commissioner on board yet? Nope, don't see her. Danita, you got some good stuff to tell us tonight? Something about membership?
I think so. Yeah.
Share with us. Yeah.
So we have our goals for 2021, which Rob might be able to pop up on our screen at some point. One of our big goals is to recover lost youth. We've had about 500 kids drop during recharter, and so we don't want to lose those kids. So we had a big scout call night a few weeks ago, and we did it via Zoom. I think it went really well. We had, about 15 volunteers all over the council. Rob made up this spreadsheet that had all of the data on the kids who dropped, if they're, what grade they were in, if they had siblings in the program, and if their unit was still rechartering or if it was one of the units that had folded. And we gave a quick update to all the volunteers. Then people put their Zoom on mute and went and started making phone calls. And we made about 414 phone calls, which was really amazing, I think. The majority of the calls ended up being an answering machine or a voicemail, and we just left a message with Rob's phone number to give him a call. The people that we did talk to, 39 indicated a desire to rejoin scouting. A few were already in other units. Some were not going to continue. Some were going to continue after COVID. And so I think it was really useful. That won't be our only contact with these dropped scouts. We're going to continue working on them throughout probably at least the next 6 months so that we don't lose them from the program. Really, really important. We've also had like 38 new signups in the last month. So that's good. So I think a lot of the units that are starting to meet again are getting people back into the fold, and some new kids, which is great. So on our goals, recover lost youth, retain current youth. So we're trying to provide some activities and things, especially for the units that have not been meeting, which unfortunately is a lot of them. So in March, we did a outdoor adventure day at the Junction City Ponds. Went really well. We were going to do one on Saturday, and due to the new COVID restrictions, the Department of Fish and Wildlife is probably not going to go for us doing that. So we're going to postpone that. So that will probably be in June. And we hope to have another big event in Springfield in June. So we'll do one in Springfield, one in Eugene. We're going to get some things going in Corvallis and in Roseburg. And we have the Scout Adventure Day coming up. Our Scout, oh no, now I forgot exactly what the wording is, Sherry. Why did I just blank out on it? Cub Adventure Day, Camp Baker, May 15th. Cub Adventure Day is being promoted to Scouts and to the general public. So a really big recruiting kick on that. So Sherry's taking care of that. So we've got some really good things going on to get kids involved. Recruiting new youth, any of the activities that we're doing, we are appealing to the general public. So it's not being advertised necessarily as a scout activity. It's being advertised as an outdoor adventure with archery and fishing. And when you sign up to pre-register, if you're not a scout, somebody will contact you and ask you about being a scout. So we just want to show families how to have a good time together.
So let me jump in the middle of this thing, Danita. So you got a lot of stuff working that is beginning to show some outcomes. Therefore, the units have got some more positive things to look forward to that they don't necessarily have to put together. So thank you very much. And while the conversation kind of went out through May, there are other things on the plate that you'll be able to discuss at another time. Yes.
Yes.
You're reaching all the way out into the future.
Yeah, marketing and social media and all those things we got to do.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thanks,
your work there from the VP membership standpoint. So we've got a whole bunch of folks on here that, cool. Elizabeth Price is here, Marty Warner, McKay Lindsay, Rush Hogue. Thanks for joining. It's good to see all you folks. We just began our 4 YPT challenge, and I'd like to introduce our YPT champion for the Oregon Trail Council. It's kind of been assigned other duties as expected, right, Eugene? Eugene Reynolds, you want to talk about YPT?
Absolutely. So we have 10 days left in the challenge to get all of our adult leaders YPT trained this month. So the reason we picked April is because it's Youth Abuse Awareness Month. It helps our units to have all of their leaders YPT'd for when they re-register in December. And it also helps at the council and district positions who recharter in June and July. So if we can get everybody in April into in the 4 YPT program, that would help everybody out in the long run. To be able to do the 4 YPT is that you commit to taking the YPT annually in April instead of every other year. You have to carry your card on you because it is a challenge position. So you carry your YPT card on you, showing that yes, you have, because anybody can come up and ask if you have your YPT, and so you want to make sure that you're ready for that when it happens. For those of you, I think Rob will agree with this. If you happen to be part of the ones that are carrying the dog tags that have numbers on it, you can lose your dog tag to that person. So yeah,
that happens.
It is a challengeable position. So
everyone
here. How many people here tonight have already finished their YPT for this month, so they're YPT trained?
You'll follow up on those that are not YPT trained, and I appreciate that. That's good stuff. And some of us were pretty quick on the draw, but we won't talk about that in this forum, Eugene.
Or you, Randy.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. We got our council commissioner on board tonight too. She had some good things to tell me the other day about unit commissioners and their service work. Claudette, you got a couple of minutes to share with us? Thanks, Eugene. Appreciate it.
I do.
Thank you.
We have had a great turnout of council commissioners that participated in the Commissioner College, working towards educating themselves and improving their level of knowledge so that they could provide better assistance. And I've heard that we have, he's on the phone today, Jim Wiley has been a commissioner par excellence, and that he has been regularly visiting his units, reporting those units, reaching out to them, and extra recognition to Jim because he has just achieved his master's in the Commissioner College. So he's demonstrated that he is a commissioner that is ready, willing, and able to get out there and service his units. And I thank Jim. And he is also shadowing and backing up Eugene. So we're in great shape.
Claudette, I think you're calling out the wrong person. I'm not a commissioner.
Oh, I got the wrong Jim. Jim Smith is the one I meant. Your name is right in front of me. And so, yes, my apologies to Jim Smith.
Yeah, so Jim Wiley, she takes it all back.
Yeah.
You can't take it back now that it's done. Very good. Very good. Yeah. I'm hearing good things about the Commissioner Corps here and there. You got a strong roundtable program going under McKay's leadership. I'm just thrilled about so many things that are going on. Thank you very much, Claudette. I appreciate it. Scott, we didn't want to cut you out, but I know you have some stuff to talk about tonight, Scott Empikoven. And if you got a few minutes, now's the time, I think.
Okay. First of all,
sir.
Pardon?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. First of all, we had a great event. We actually had the Order of the Arrow service weekend out at Baker this last weekend, and a crew of about, man, somebody help me out, Jim, would we have 70 to 80 scouters, I think, that were out at Baker this weekend?
About 75.
Yeah, about 75, and got an awful lot of work done. And it was just good to see scouters in action and providing service to the camp. And I think everybody kind of enjoyed getting back together and seeing one another. So really enjoyed going out there this weekend and being a part of that. You know, Jim will probably tell everybody that everybody else does the service. I do a lot of talking when I go out there. So I keep people from actually doing the service. So I do apologize about that, but we had a blast out there, just getting a lot of stuff done. 13 new picnic tables were put together for Camp Baker for this summer. So that's a great thing. And along with a lot of other work, brush work around the campsites, finished up the bathrooms in the dining hall, did some electrical work, and just tons of things that got done and really helps us kind of prepare and get ready for summer camp with other weekends, work weekends to come. I know we have another work party a week from this Saturday, I believe, down at Camp Mooney, and looking forward to getting some work done down there as well. So yeah, it's although I will let everybody know that, and not all of you are Lane County, but Lane County as of Friday will be going back up to higher risk as opposed to lower risk, up to high risk. So some more restrictions as far as numbers at events and stuff like that. So that is happening as of Friday. But you know, again, it was just a great opportunity for scouters to get together and get some stuff done. We'll mention
What impressed me, Scott, was that everybody was wearing masks. Everybody was distancing. They had wash stations. I mean, talk about good people. They really care about each other. They did a really good job with the distancing and that. And I think that's real important because we can do this as a group and we can keep ourselves safe. So don't be afraid to come out.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for all you're doing with those properties. We'll mention that we've had some discussion with several of our committees, and we are increasing the fees for use of our properties starting on June 1. They will go up. The price will actually double. I think it was 35, no, it's 25, 35, and 45, and it's going to 50, 70, and 90, depending on the size of the group that's going out there. Really comes out to, you know, probably about $3 per person for a 48-hour period. So that is going up on June 1st. However, your district leadership should be getting in touch with all of our units and talking to our units and setting a Friends of Scouting goal for the unit. And that is something that's agreed upon by the district leadership and the unit, you know, probably based on some history, based on what, you know, how many youth you have in your unit, and setting that goal. And any unit that achieves that goal will then have use of the properties going forward once they achieve that goal at no cost other than a deposit, which should be returned as long as they leave it in the shape that they found it in. So that is coming up. Donita, yes.
So I happen to have the Oregon Trail Council campsite fees chart here. So chartered partners, out of council units, and outside user groups had different fees. So will theirs be going up double also?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Let me see. Other than that, just got some good news. I think we've talked quite a bit over the last several months about the bankruptcy. Got some good movement this last week. Some great information, or some helpful information, in that BSA and Hartford came to a settlement, and that Hartford will be paying in $650 million for a settlement, which will help, I believe, most councils, and the aggregate total that's going to have to come from the councils should be impacted positively from that. So we'll see how that all comes out, but we're still kind of waiting to hear. You know, once things start happening, they usually happen pretty quickly, and we're expecting to hear by the middle of May what the settlement amount will be, and then what that will mean to each council. So as soon as we get information on that, we'll be getting more communication out to all of our scouters and let you know what's happening with all that. I'm pretty positive, and I think most of our board is positive about the fact that yes, it'll have an impact on us, but whatever that impact will be, we'll be able to absorb it and just move on and continue scouting as we move forward, and put all of that behind us and make sure that anybody that was abused in scouting in our council get some kind of compensation for what happened to them. Only other thing that I want to talk about is just summer camp. We are having plans, or our plans are getting in place for summer camp. We're planning on running three weeks at Camp Baker and 2 weeks at Camp Malacqua. Just talked to the Forest Service on Monday and chatted with them a little bit about it, and they aren't going to have an issue with us being up at Camp Malacqua, so that's great. And we are waiting and expecting to hear from the state this week on what the guidelines will be, and then we'll have to adapt a little bit. We've kind of got our plans in place already, but we may have to adapt them a little bit depending on what those state guidelines are. But yes, we're planning on having summer camp at Baker and Malacqua, day camps, and moving forward so that our youth will be able to have a long-term summer camp, or a long-term camp experience, which I think is very crucial for our program. So looking forward to that. I will tell everybody it'll look a little bit different. Our plans are right now to move them around in cohort groups. For those of us in scouting, cohort groups are pretty much patrols or dens, and they will move around as a group. Because what we're hearing nationally is the question isn't how are you going to keep COVID out of camp, it's how do you mitigate the spread of COVID. And this way we have very little exposure as far as if we do have a positive test, they've had limited exposure to who they've dealt with during the course of the week at camp. So more on that as we get the guidelines from the state.
Things are moving well. That sounds great. That sounds great. Jim, did I see you have your hand up? Jim Wiley? No?
No way.
But I can tell you, Randy, with some excitement, that today we've started construction on the new shower house at Camp Baker.
Wow.
Tomorrow, I'm going to meet with Gary Wildish and Don Brotman and myself, and we're going to do a little bit of the layout on exactly where it'll be replaced. But in a couple of weeks, we'll be ready for concrete and plumbing and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, finally.
It's been a long trial. Yeah.
A lot of hoops.
Very good. No kidding. That's kind of impressive. I think it started what, about a year ago?
Last August, yes. But who's counting?
That's incredible. So that's one of the positive things about all the work that the scouters do, and excuse me. If we'll continue to tell the tale, then that's a very positive sort of thing. Danita, did you want to comment on that? Scott?
On summer camps?
Yeah, I thought you had your hand up. Sorry.
I did not. I'm
That's okay.
wondering, you know, one thing I'm thinking we need to keep an eye on is that School districts are getting a bunch of money to do summer programs and things. And so I don't know if that will extend through the fall, but if our camps are ready to take in outside groups, I think there's going to be some funding coming through with school districts to do outdoor school type programs that we may just be ready to take on.
That's good. Good point. Yeah.
I will let you know that we've actually have interest, and I just got an email today about a school that's interested in using Camp Baker.
Mhm.
We've got a couple of weeks put aside for another group that may be out there for 2 or 3 weeks at Camp Baker. Riddle School District is planning on using Camp Mooney for some outdoor school stuff, which is great. And a week and a half ago, I was down at Camp Chinook down in the Coos Bay area, and found out, talking to some of our volunteers down there that are working on Camp Chinook, that they've got some school districts down in that area that are very interested in using Chinook for outdoor school as well. So 3 of our properties at least that people are interested in.
Well, I think maybe, especially with the bigger districts, it'd be worthwhile to reach out to them and let them know that we have these facilities, because they may not have any clue.
Yeah, and I think Oak Ridge is actually interested in Kitson as well. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, we could use
Yeah,
some income.
Yeah. So things are starting to look up. There's just no doubt. It's been a long, hard slog for the last, 14 months now? We're at the 14-month anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Keep seeing stuff from John Weimer floating across about exactly that idea. Okay. What else do we want to talk about tonight, folks? We talked about summer camp, the bankruptcy, membership, and the planning aspects that are going on out there. The 4 YPT and Eugene. I bet there's people on here that have not taken their YPT, so you can message them privately and remind them that now's the time. And Claudette, I appreciate your granting kudos to Jim Smith. He's obviously stepping forward to do some good stuff out there. What else do we want to talk about? Any other questions or comments, please?
Randy, I think Kelly could probably enlighten us too. He's going to take a couple of groups up to Camp Malacqua this summer from the LDS groups. You know, and we have to remember that these are people that were scouters that now have their own program, but we've got guys like Kelly that are still scouters as well. And they're going to go up and use Camp Malacqua. So not only the school districts, but we've got church organizations using us too. Our properties not using us.
Very good. Kelly, you want to talk about that? That's a good lead in.
Oh, I think Jim said it all. Yeah, we worked out a time, where we weren't in the way of OA or the normal Camp Malacqua. And we've got a young ladies group and a young men's group that want to go up and use it. And they're going to do high adventure. We were there, I think, a couple of years ago, and actually ran into Jim Wiley there. And they had a fantastic time, and they keep talking about it. So, as Jim said, even though the LDS Church is separated from scouting, the LDS youth still want to use those properties because they have a lot of meaning to them.
Very good.
Important too that we keep in line that we're serving the community, and we're all community, and we're a big family, and so groups like this and schools and that's really what Boy Scouts are supposed to be doing, and it's really feels good to see it happening.
Yeah, it's all about helping youth learn to make ethical and moral choices as they go through life, whether they're actively participating in scouting or they're community members. Very good stuff.
The nice thing is, if they run into Jim this year, they know him as Jim Wiley. Last time they ran into him, they only knew him as the bearded barefoot guy that was running around in the woods.
and using the surname of Wink Dinkerman.
That's how I know you.
Claudette.
Yes, I just want to take a couple of minutes to make a pitch for the National Eagle Scout Association. As scouters are moving towards their boards of review and their court of honors. It is something that makes a wonderful gift. And the reason I'm bringing it to your attention now is that a couple of weeks ago, we met. I'm on the committee for the Western region for the scholarship selection. And over the country, the organization is distributing $410,000 in scholarships. And one of those scholarships alone is either 29 or 48,000. But I want to plant a seed for you, because with the reorganization, most of the members of the Western Region Selection Committee are in California in Area 3. And with the restructuring, it will leave me as the only person in the territory that after the reorganization. So they've already warned us that existing committee members are going to be expected to recruit their own companions. So in a matter of months, I may be back asking you. And it's wonderful when you see the quality, the caliber of scouts that are applying for these scholarships, and many of them are already in college, and it's very impressive. And I have been on a lot of scholarship selection committees for different organizations, and it is the most equitable practice and procedure that I've seen. So I have a lot of confidence, and I'm very proud of the work that the group does. So that's my pitch for the National Eagle Scout Association. And I believe if you have questions about active participation, Dave Ragsdale might be the individual to consult.
So Claudette, do these scholarships also go, because I was a blue collar worker. I was an appliance repair tech, and then I was a trainer for national companies. Do they go to trade schools also? Because you can get a 2-year degree in appliance technology or HVAC or automotive or something like that. Have they considered that?
I can't answer that directly because it would require me to think about the applications that I read, but I think that that's a good question. I know there are scholarships that in town here that do extend to that. And I would actually be surprised if they didn't. That it wasn't necessarily required. And the one last thing I will say about if you have a lifetime membership in the organization, and you don't have to get a lifetime membership, you can just have a regular membership, you automatically get a magazine. And that may not sound like much, but when my son comes home and he's sitting on the couch, he picks up that magazine. And even though he's 26 and he's pretty removed from his days as a scout, it brings him back in connection with scouting. And it's my hope that by having that connective link, that when he's a dad and he's ready to come be a scout leader, or even sooner, I hope, that he will already be connected because he has been part of the organization and staying in tune with it.
Yep, that's a good point.
Claudette, I'd be available to help with that if you needed help.
Thank you, Rush. I've got my pen and my paper. Thank you.
Thanks, Rush. Appreciate that.
And witnesses to boot.
That's right.
It's recorded.
And Scott said he'd help too. Scott?
Hey, Randy, just want to mention, we've decided, just want to remind everybody that on next Monday, our Silver Beaver Selection Committee is going to get together and determine our Silver Beavers for 2020 for last year and recognize them on May 7th. We've decided at this point that we just need to go virtual one more year for that recognition. And I'll work with Rob to make sure, I know it's in the calendar, but we'll make sure that people can go on and kind of register and get the information on the Zoom information to be on that. I'm in the process of working on the script right now. I will be getting in touch with some people here tonight to talk to them about their part in that presentation. So unfortunately, we won't be serving dinner, but you're welcome to sit down and have dinner while we're in the middle of our event. So May 7th.
Will be virtual again? Were we virtual last year?
We didn't do it last year. As a
Didn't
matter
do
of
it.
fact, as a
It
matter
was
of fact,
pretend last year. This year it's virtual. Next year it'll be real.
we had 3 Silver Beaver recipients last year. 2 of them have been recognized in their district, and we'll mention them during the event. And Eugene Reynolds, who's on tonight, has not been recognized. So we will also recognize him since he has not been recognized from last year. So we will do that. And you're right, we didn't have an event. Unfortunately, we probably could have done it virtual, but we were still early on. I honestly think it was scheduled for 2 days after we shut down the council office and everything, because we had everything ready to go and it just didn't happen. So we're going to take care of that this year, and then hopefully we'll get back to having a full-fledged dinner and nice location and doing it upright in the future.
That's a good call out, Scott. Yeah, 1 year virtual, and then like Danita said, next year we'll do put our baby blues together to enjoy each other in public. That's for sure. Any other comments, questions for the good of the organization?
Yes, Randy.
Sir, we're at the top of the hour. Go ahead, Eugene. I recognize Eugene. See, that's him.
I'm planning on ordering in a very nice dinner that night for myself and my wife. I suggest everybody else do the same.
That'll work. Yep. Have a steak dinner, just like we would if we were going to the Silver Beaver Banquet. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Good stuff. Anything else before we wrap up the evening? Okay. Very good. Well, you don't have to leave, but we're at the top of the hour. Thank you for attending. And for those of you who are sort of new into the organization, we'll talk some more and get you a little more public as we go forward here. Thanks for coming in tonight for our fireside chat. Next one is a month from now, and we'll look forward to that as well.